All right, thanks, Melody. Happening today, Oregon State Representative and Republican Mike Nearman of Independence in Polk County will go before a House Special Committee. He is facing allegations of helping coordinate and assist a breach of the Oregon Capitol during a closed session last December. It was a video that you see here. Nearman does face criminal charges in the incident, including criminal trespass and official misconduct. Now, today's special committee comes as recently new video came to light. Reports say that video shows Nearman explaining how people could break into the Salem Capitol.
A special committee will be evenly split amongst Republicans and Democrats, and on that committee is House Republican leader Christine Drazan of Canby. She joins us live to talk about what is expected today. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
So this is a very serious issue. Before we kind of get into more of exactly what happened that day, what is the process for today's hearing going to look like?
So today's hearing, the committee will organize itself and take public testimony. The public testimony will be time limited, and it will be limited to the events of December the 21st.
Okay, so do you believe that Nearman will be expelled, and how do you plan to vote?
I am committed to holding our elected legislators in my own party as well as in the opposing party accountable. We're here to serve the public. We are here to do the public good. And we have got to be very, very serious about what that means. And so our caucus called for Representative Nearman to resign. That is still what I think would be in the best interest of the state. We have been a state, as you guys know, since 1859, and expulsion has been in our Constitution, and no one has been expelled. I am not looking forward to this being the first. I think that Representative Nearman has the opportunity to make the decision to resign from the legislature. And I hope that he takes this opportunity over the course of the next few days and makes that decision.
Now, I don't know if there were other lawmakers that were feeling more hesitant in their decisions, but do you believe that the recent video coming to light showing a little bit more coordination, conversation ahead of what we saw on that surveillance video, does that change things for anyone?
It changed things for everyone. There is a big difference between someone walking out a door and inadvertently creating harm. Our state troopers were injured. The public could have been injured. The protesters that were outside legislators' windows that morning, that throughout that day, were threatening to kill legislators. They were armed, and it was not a stable situation. So I absolutely, as Republicans, we voted against keeping the building closed. But that provision to keep the building closed is within the constitutional rights of the majority party. They adopted rules that said that the building was closed. Their decision to do that is allowed in the Constitution. So for people who say that the building had to be open to the public because it was constitutional, they have to say, read one more line down. It's also constitutional for the building to organize itself in a way that determines what that looks like. It was not appropriate for Representative Nearman to take matters into his own hands and indiscriminately allow violent protesters into the building. That's what happened. It was not necessary. There is such a thing as civil disobedience. That's not this. This is a dangerous event that was intentionally created by a member of my party. And the judgment that was shown there is poor judgment, to the point that people were injured. There's a lot of ways to do peaceful protest, and we absolutely support peaceful protest. All summer long, we stood with the people who were protesting peacefully in Portland, and we stood against violent protest. And in this case, this protest in our Salem state capitol threatened violence, and in fact turned to violence once the building was opened. The fact that that was premeditated is completely unacceptable. So I am encouraging Representative Nearman, and will continue to encourage him as the leader of the Republican caucus, to reconsider and resign.
Have you spoken to him personally about this?
Yes.
Okay.
Is he considering resignation? Where is his head right now?
You know, I would hope that he is seriously considering resignation. He has the opportunity to make that decision right up until there may be a vote on this matter, and I am hopeful that he will do that. He has been actively engaged as a member of our caucus for many years now, and he has the opportunity to not be the first member in Oregon's history to be expelled, and instead to make the decision to resign from the body. And I hope that he takes as much time as is available to him to consider that option and to go that route instead.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Representative Drazan, for joining us this morning and shedding some light on what's going on and what will happen.
Thank you.
All right, want to get a look right now at our top headlines this morning.
Ken Botti joins us with the latest on the Keystone XL pipeline. Some big shifts and changes here, Ken.
Yeah, this is big